Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Up Close and Personal with Angela. On behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine, I want to thank you guys that have been supporting the platform and sharing these amazing individuals from around the world that are doing some amazing things in their community and trying to impact the community around the world as a whole. So I'm super excited to have yet another amazing woman of God here tonight to share just a little bit about what she's doing, who she is, and how she's impacting her community. I want you guys to please take this opportunity to share this in your circle of influence. It only takes a second. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, I promise you, you'll walk away with a nugget tonight. Just a little nugget. That's all it takes. Just that little nugget. For those that do not know who I am Angela Thomas Smith. I'm the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I am also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, and my whole desire is to bridge the gap between brown authors all over this world and to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community that people don't want to talk about. So, with that being said, I'm going to move out the way because y'all know I'll get to going, but I'm going to move out the way and I'm going to let my guest come up and introduce herself. Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you tonight?
I am great. I am great. Always excited to have yet another brown individual that is impacting their community and touching lives on the platform and sharing them across my platform. So I'm excited to hear all about you and some of the things that you are doing and how we can connect with you and how we can support what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I am Jacqueline Lulu Brown, and I am the CEO and founder of Revolution Ascension LLC. And I'm a ICF International Coaching Federation certified coach. And within my company, Revolution Ascension, I provide expertise in the areas of women's empowerment consulting and coaching with a definitive understanding of the differences between consulting and coaching. Typically, if I'm working with an organization and they want, or a corporate entity, and they want someone to come in and help consult and advise them and help them develop a plan on how they can build their women's leadership stronger. That's more from the consulting side. And then Revolution Ascension has all of our various coaching programs. We have a Ascension Academy. We also have one-on-one. Everyone's not comfortable talking about things in a group, so there is one-on-one coaching. And then we have our fabulous retreats. And I got to tell you, that is probably my favorite, obviously, because the retreats, you get to travel and you go to a destination and you just get the opportunity to take yourself out of the environment that you're in and put yourself somewhere else and literally disconnect and focus on yourself. So just a little bit about probably what I consider that makes me a little different from a coaching as well as consulting perspective is that I am a thought leader and I provoke thought in others. Um, I would like to say that I am a big disruptor and a radical agent for change and moving away from the status quo. One of the things that I teach is coming out of the box and not being afraid to color outside the lines. And I'm sure people remember that when you were younger and you started going to school and they taught you to stay within the lines. And I basically, when you look at it from a life perspective, I love coloring outside the lines because lines mean that we're being boxed in. So, what I really help women to do is to go from good and great to phenomenal. I delve into the heart of the matter with some solutions around all of the things that really tend to hold us back as women. Everything from race, gender bias, what I call in one of my classes, I have a class called the Matrix Mindset. And so I help them sort of come out of that matrix mindset. The other piece is how to help them sort of tap into their divine superpowers, I call them. And the biggest piece is nonconformance to this world system's status quo, or nonconformists to what this world system defines for us as success. So why do I do what I do? Because I really like for people to know why I do what I do. I am radically against the mindsets that we as Black women have been taught. The ideology that has been forced upon us, and I'm going to say Black and brown women. I've seen women, mainly our women of color, our Black and brown women, I've seen them experience progress without power. There is a such thing as progress without power. Success within a box of limitations. That happens. And what I really love to teach is to actually be extraordinary and phenomenal. How do we get to that place? We use words like good to great, great to excellence. Well, why do we want to be there? Why can't we be phenomenal? Why can't we be extraordinary? So, an example is we're told the sky is the limit. That's a cliche. Well, I don't like that cliche. And I kind of make people think out of the box a little bit, sort of like, well, why is the sky the limit? Example, we have people that travel into space. So if you can travel beyond the sky and go into space, to the moon, to other places in the universe, why is the sky the limit? Our language is powerful. So why would we set the limitation of the sky is the limit? I pay attention to the things that we have been taught from the time we were very little. And these things become an indoctrination. So if there really isn't any limit with the sky, why do we limit ourselves? And a lot of times it's because of our mindset. And I said indoctrination. Some people think that that sounds harsh. Well, we have an indoctrination that we have taken on. And actually, that indoctrination is chains that remain on our minds. So while slavery for Black people, people may say, well, slavery's over. Well, the chains sometimes are still on our mind. So I love to disrupt. I love to challenge what we have been taught. I love to sort of point out that these are the things that hold us back and really prevent us from propelling forward. And I spend a good portion of the empowerment piece with women because we all say, well, empowerment. Well, what does that mean? Well, for Revolution Ascension, it means that I radically talk about the enslaved mindset and stepping into one's divine superpowers. And I mean real superpowers. And how do we get there? I help with teaching a 4-step process of awakening, discovery, transformational healing, and then ascension to one's highest self. And within there, the goal is that at the end of those 4 steps and that blueprint and that process, women are empowered to flourish in their limitless greatness for a life filled with peace, joy, ease, grace, and flow. And it's centered around freedom. And I say that slowly: freedom, abundance, wisdom, and most importantly, the whisperings of their inner heart. We've got these whisperings down on the inside that we really want to obtain these desires, but you can't cheat the process. You got to go through the process to remove the chains, change the mindset, transform, but transform on a whole nother level. So I really want Black and brown women to know that good, great, and excellent, that should not be the goal. Magnificent on a whole nother level that blows the minds of the world, so that we are operating in a power that literally shakes up the world. It makes a difference. It solves the a lot of the challenges that we have in our communities. Because if we don't become enlightened and take the chains off of our mind, how are we going to be able to lead someone else? We've got to ascend to our highest self first. Then we can make a difference in why our young Black men, Black and brown men, are in the prison system consistently, like it's a revolving door, being shot down in the streets by the police. In order to make the impact and the change, we first have to make sure that we have transformed ourselves. And most importantly, that we understand how to tap in to the power that has been given to us. And that power was given to us from the time that we were in our mother's womb. What happens is that when we come out, we are shaped and molded, and we are given a world view based on what we experience. So, one, we've got to wake up and come out of what we have learned, been taught, and indoctrinated with. We have to wake up and pick out the pieces that don't serve us. And then we've got to hone in and discover what our real power is. Go deep into who we are at our core on an individual basis, because there is gifting, there is genius, there is brilliance that's down in there. And we have to discover what that means for us. And I am going to now ask you, what other questions do you have?
Like literally, you like I'm like, wow, my Monday morning motivation half hour power was this conversation this morning. So I thank
Really?
you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. That was the conversation
Mhm.
on on my show this morning. But I
Okay.
thank you for that. It's just confirmation, and it just reminds me that I've been telling people Genesis 2:7. My
Mm.
belief. I'm a Christian. I don't I don't push religion on nobody, but my belief system is set up as a Christian. So I believe in the Holy Bible, and in Genesis 2:7, he said he breathed the breath of life into us. And you talk about that power, it's in us. We got to
Yes.
tap into it, ascension, going
Hmm.
to that higher level, being able
Yes.
to tap into it. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to connect to that that's on the inside of you, because nothing is dropping out of the sky. That's
That's
what I
right.
keep telling people. Nothing is dropping out of the sky. You touched on some powerful words tonight. Some powerful words. Everything that you said has truly been confirmation. He dropped that word power in
Hmm.
my spirit almost a year and a half ago. I got it in a calendar. I got it in a book. He
Hmm.
said, position yourself to
Hmm.
be an overcomer by being a willing
Yes.
vessel to empower
Mhm.
others. Everything that you're looking for, everything that you need is already on the inside of you. You got to bring it up out of you in order to empower somebody through your resilience. You
Right.
think that everything that you've been through, do you think you made it? You're here.
Hmm.
Why? Resilience, because he called you.
Right.
The will in the will. The
Hmm.
will on the inside. The will will not let you give up. The will will not let you die. It will not let you. I like. Everything you saying, I've been telling people this for months. And if you want to tap into powers, because
Yes.
he has powers, he don't want to just give you one power. He want to
Right.
give you powers to move around this earth and to navigate. See, we don't
Hmm.
got so caught up in this flesh, we forget that we are spiritual beings, and he want to equip us spiritually so that we can
Right.
operate in those gifts.
Hmm.
But people don't understand it. They get so caught up. They get caught up when they talk about prophecy, and they get caught up over there in Jeremiah 1:5 when they say you should prophesy, and you should prophesy and prophesy to the nation, and all of that, not understanding that those gifts on the inside of you, those gifts that he's placed on the inside of you, is what's going to speak for you. He ain't saying that you got to go out here and speak, get cars, because everybody want to prophesy cars and houses and prosperity, but he's giving you gifts, and those gifts will speak for you. They're gonna
That's right.
speak for you all the time, and that's what's gonna prophesy. That's what's
Hmm.
gonna prophesy. People looking for somebody to speak a word when the word is already in you. The word
That's
is
right.
already in you, and all you got to do is activate it. You want to activate it? Put something in there. Give him his word back. You give it back to him, and it'll activate. I'm telling you, he will activate. Just like that transformer, you said transform. Just like them transformers be transforming, he will transform you just like that. What you running from? You can't hide.
Mm-mm.
He's in you, and you are in him. You cannot leave him. So now, what would that dash say?
I love everything that you are saying. It is so true. And a lot of times, you're absolutely right. We want to, I'm going to say, drain other people telling us something. We're not satisfied. We got to have somebody prophesying over us all night long, telling us about the house, the car, the prosperity. We have to get up and take what's in us. And don't get me wrong. I think when you have an opportunity to be in a prophetic place where God can speak, but that speaking is supposed to be confirmation of what you know is already in you. It's supposed to be the confirmation. It's supposed to be, okay, God, this person don't know nothing and I'm struggling with this, but then the confirmation comes. Okay, this is how you're going to move forward. Daughter, it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to move out into a different place. But that takes some fasting, some praying, some studying, some reading. That takes turning off the television and seeing our favorite show. That takes, not being hooked on whatever the weekly series is. And we really should be in our journal and we should be meditating to hear back from God. Because praying, a lot of times people think it's a monologue. It's not, it's a dialogue. So we should be dialoguing with God for ourselves so that we can hear. And then, because God's word said, write the vision, so that we can write the vision. And then the prophetic comes and just sort of confirms everything and sends that confirmation versus us just draining people. And a lot of times, people that have prophetic gifts, sometimes I look and I really feel sorry for them because people are always, oh, can you come to my prayer meeting? Oh, can you come to this? Oh, can you come to my prophetic prayer line? And they just want to drain, drain, drain. And they don't want to put in any time and any work to hear from God for themselves. And there is nothing like hearing from God and then getting that confirmation. So I am so with you on that. And God meant us to be powerful. Now, there is an order, and I get it. I understand headship. I understand what God means with headship and male and female. But there is a divine gifting that we are given as females. Some don't even know that we've got some capabilities in our brain, and this is scientific, and I share my sources where I get my information from and where I've studied. Some of it is experience from having a traumatic brain injury, but there is something in our prefrontal frontal cortex here
Mm-hmm.
that is different, and men don't have that. And what that allows us to do is a lot of what you ever hear cliches about we're really great at multitasking and, you know, our ability to nurture and to be more sensitive. And there's this sort of bad thing put on emotion. Oh, you can't be emotional. There's some gifting that we have as females, and those deeper emotions allow us to have empathy, allow us to have insight and a power from a thinking, a processing. All of this is gifting, but you got to tap into it. And you can't just wave a magic wand. You got to put some work in. You have to get down in sort of what I call clean and clear. First, we have to do a conscious cleanse. And what I mean by a conscious cleanse is, again, we got to get into what is in our mind. What is the indoctrination that we have embraced? And just kind of clear and get all that garbage out of our consciousness, and then be willing to get those divine downloads that are going to wake up, because it's down in there. We just have to wake it up. Once we wake it up, and we start moving forward in the power that has been given to us, now we make tremendous impact in the world. I had a conversation with a group, and I said, we have got to stop denigrating and constantly criticizing our men. Because at the end of the day, who do we think raised these men?
Hmm.
And that doesn't mean that we should be blamed for everything or anything that I'll say our sons do wrong. But you got to ask yourself, have you done everything that needed to be done that prepares and helps these men? And I understand the father has a role. I'm strictly talking about the mother's role. Have we done everything that we were supposed to do for them to become the men that they need to be? Somebody that we are overjoyed to say, that's my son. He makes a good husband. That's my nephew. He makes a good husband. Are we doing that? Or have we been in these toxic relationships where we're treating them like they're our mate? We're substituting them for the man that's not in our life. And that happens a lot. So, in a lot of what we do within Revolution Ascension, is having those difficult conversations. It's sort of, I call it coming clean and ripping off the mask. And as you know, I've often heard people describe ripping off the eyelashes and wiping off the makeup and just getting real and raw. And that's real and raw from just pulling off the outer appearance, but also getting real and raw from down here in our heart. And when we can do that and then really get insight to what it is we need to do to reconcile ourselves with our men, we can sit up and talk about what they're not from now until forever.
Right.
But if we took the focus off what they're not and put the focus on us, because we are powerful influencers. There ain't no greater influencer than a woman. I'm sorry. I have a joke that I tease my husband with. And this is a quick, funny story. So my husband and I were on a cruise, and we got married at one of our destinations. We were on an 11-day cruise, and we decided to get married during hurricane season. So of course we're on the ship and we're missing a lot of the stops because we're sailing around a hurricane. And the days that we didn't make it into port, you are not able to go out on deck. There's no activities, but they show movies all day. So we're in the theater, and at the time, My Big Fat Greek Wedding was the movie that was playing. And there's a part in the movie where the mother is talking to the daughter, and the daughter says, "But ma, um, dad is not gonna. He's not gonna go for it. He's so tough, and he won't compromise." And the mother says in a very stern voice, as she looks at the daughter, and she says, "The man, your father, may be the head," she said, "but I am the neck. The wife is the neck, and I can turn the head any way I want." So I started teasing my husband, and we refer to each other as the neck. And I'm the neck, and he's the head. And now, don't get me wrong, women out there, anybody who's listening to this, we're not talking about being toxic and manipulation, because
Right.
women have a tendency. We're not talking about Jezebel spirits. But what I am saying is that God has empowered us, and we are powerful influencers. And when we are operating, when we have awakened and discovered, and we've gotten all the garbage, that's the transformational healing. When we've come clean and allowed God to heal us from all the garbage, and we are ascending to our highest selves, and we are operating in what I call our divine superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Now you ready to be the neck and turn those heads in a positive way,
That's
not
it.
manipulating. But we're doing too much manipulation today. That's my opinion. When I'm looking at things and everything from TV, we think that we can manipulate with sex, shaking the booty, booty popping, all this other stuff. And we don't have to do that. We just have to allow ourselves to operate in the power that has been given to us and be that influence that we make change in this world overall. And when you make that kind of change and that impact, you will see things begin to happen that will blow people's minds. And we can do that if we can just individually as well as collectively come together and ascend to that level.
Wow. You definitely touched on some powerful things on tonight. And I definitely agree with you with when you're talking about our male. And a lot of it start with our women. I tell you, the beginning of this year, it was dropped in my spirit. Heal the city and heals, and I. It was a movement, the L3 movement, part of the L3 movement. I did a book. It was a collaboration project, 138 women. We came together, did a devotional, 121 days of prayer based on Psalms 121. Look to the hills from which my help comes, and we did affirmations. We actually prayed for 121 days from February the 1st to June 1st. It was me and two other women. We were dedicated to it. We headed the different parts centered around love, learn, and lead. I didn't understand when he dropped these three words in my spirit, because I was just like, three words. I said, nobody want to be a part of a project with three words. And then he just say, just do what I say. And
Right.
I just dropped the words out there, and then he began to develop them. He began to break each one of those letters down. He broke down every letter in learn, every letter in love, every letter in lead, and each one of these words, we each one of us had a word, and each one of these words fitted us for where we were right then. The young lady that was a part of the learn, she said, Miss Angela, I thank you. She said, this, I needed this. She said, because I'm trying to develop a prayer life.
Mhm.
And I've watched how God has developed her prayer life. I watched how God has moved in her life just from the beginning of the prayer. And she didn't even do the whole 121 days, because somebody else started with us, and God took them off the project because it wasn't for them. She needed to be there. He opened it up and allowed her to come and be a part of this project. From day 90 on, she was a part of the project. I think she missed about 20, 30 days. But when I tell you God moved in her life, I watched her and her husband build a house from the ground up in the
Wow.
midst of a pandemic. In the midst of a pandemic, I watched the other young lady that was a part of the project. She was struggling with depression, struggling. I mean, she was struggling. People didn't know that during this process that she was struggling in her health issues and everything, and how God moved for her. He opened the door to allow her to get her little children book and her little characters into the New York City school system. She's in the school system. She has an after school program. And nothing nobody told me. This is something that I witnessed through these 121 days.
Right.
And when he said, now, this time we have to include the men. He said, heal the city and heals. Heal. When
Mm-hmm.
people say, Angela, why you keep using these acronyms? This is what he dropped in my spirit, and he just tell me what to say. Here, we got to stop allowing hindrances
Right.
to stop us from our present state of being and operating in the spirit. Our ego ain't got no place in this process
Mm-hmm.
because it affects your attitude. And I
Yes, it
tell people all the time, do not come around me unless you have the attitude of love, because that's how we have to operate. And
mhm.
that's how you heal. Allow those hindrances to move on. Separate yourself.
Yes.
Put your ego in check. Put it in check. And if you're
That's
gonna have an attitude, move in love, because love draws. Love covers a multitude of sin. He say, love thy brothers and thy sisters like love thyself.
mhm.
And we don't love ourselves. That's why we can't love our brothers and our sisters. So it's time for us to really find out who we are. And how you find out who you are, you got to tap into the source. That's the only way. The source is the only way. He said he
Mhm.
created us in his image.
Right.
In his image. You touched
Mhm.
on some powerful things. Again, I say, when Heal the City and Heals, he said that women, we got to come together.
Yes.
He gave me that heals, the H, the E, the L, the S, and that
Mhm.
H in heals is hover. He said we got to hover over the cities. We've been walking, we've been marching, we've been doing a lot. We've been having prayer meetings, we've been doing all that stuff. But have we been meeting in the spirit? Have your spirit been connected with my spirit, and we not even be in the same place? That's what he talking about. He said we got to be able to connect. When you got something going on, I got to know that you got something going on, and I got to be able to connect with you in the spirit, and we got to be able to come together, and we got to be able to eliminate that problem.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
ain't even got to be in the same city. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I'm telling people. We've got to come together as brown people that
Yes.
don't realize the power that they possess. If you go over to Genesis, I think it's Genesis 15, 13, and 14. Them folk, like you said, those 450 years are up. We can't keep, we can't keep, we can't keep using that for an excuse.
No.
We can't use that as an excuse no more. We can't use it as a crutch no more. That time is over, and those that know, they know it's over.
Mhm.
That's why they do everything to keep you from operating in the spirit, because they know your power come from being connected to the source and operating in the spirit and being able to go to that next level. And they don't want you to do that.
No. No.
How can people connect with you? How can they follow you? How can they support what you are doing? Because you are doing some amazing things. And tonight, I know there's so much more that you could share, but we just don't have the time. But I want people to be able to connect with you. I want them to be able to follow you and support you. So please share. How can they support what you're doing?
Thank you so much. So, one of the things that they can do, and this is like the most simple and easiest, I do give 30-minute free consultations. I'm not one of those people that wants you to sign up and come to my Ascension Academy, go register, sign up for my retreat. Now, we got some fabulous retreats, and the Ascension Academy and the one-on-one, those are all great programs. But what I like for people to do is to sign up for the free 30-minute consultation, because I send out a form and they fill out that form, and it's a detailed questionnaire, because I really want to know that I can help them, and I want to understand the challenges they have. Some of those challenges may not be a fit for the programs that I have, and I want to be able to point them in the right direction. And so the easiest way to sign up, the first thing I encourage people to do is sign up for the free consultation. And the easiest way to do that is there, you can book it on my business Facebook page. And that is facebook.com, obviously, /Revolution Ascension. All together, one word, Revolution Ascension. And there's some private groups out there that I have that are for the Ascension Academy, but you'll know the business page because right under my picture, it will say coach. And so you go to that page and there's a book button right there. When you click on book, the calendar comes up and you just select an available date and time. Do that and allow me to be able to reach out to you, send you an intake form, invest in 30 minutes in yourself. It's only 30 minutes and you don't have to pay for it. You can get something without paying for it. And so I encourage people to do that. Go to my business Facebook page. They can always inbox me. I'm Jacqueline Lulu Brown on Facebook. That's my personal page. But I encourage people, go to my business page and book that free consultation. And then let's talk about what their needs are. And then let's go from there. Also, I am the international ambassador for an upcoming book called I Am a Black Woman, The Next Level. And that is being put together. The visionary and founder of that whole movement is Dr. Carolyn Stevens. And I am part of many of the things that she does. And I encourage people that when you go on my page, you're going to see the I Am a Black Woman, I'm the international ambassador. So you're going to see some information there about that. And that's something that is near and dear to my heart because I just love women of all cultures. And I like what you said, this isn't about religion. This is really about relationship. And I have traveled all over the world and I have worked with women from all cultures, Hindi, Muslim. It doesn't make a difference. I tell people I draw the line as long as you're not from the Church of Satan. and I'm serious when I say that because I've had some folks, say, well, can you do this? No. I let people know right up front. Don't come to me with no witchcraft. No, that is something because people will tempt you with money. Oh, I need you to coach me. And you have to be able, and I'm going to leave this thought. Women, be careful that you don't latch on to every shiny little thing that looks like it's good because you can get drawn into something that is not good for you. So be careful. I tell people all the time, none of us are above these divisive sources trying to come in and infringe and suck our power out of us. My husband uses a saying, he calls it energy vampires. And when people see your power, because the enemy's going to recognize your power, believe you me. And when they come in to try to steal that power from you, and it comes in very subtle. And I often tell people, remember the scripture. When the sons of God presented themselves, the Bible tells us there came Satan also. And when God said, whence cometh thou? And the enemy said, going to and fro, walking up and down in the earth, seeking whom I may devour. So women, make sure that you're not being devoured. Make sure that when you go to anything, it doesn't have to be me. It could be any program. Make sure that when somebody is speaking into your life, they are speaking into your life where it is going to be of a benefit and it is not going to take you to a place where you wake up one day and you wonder, how in the world did I get here? And I say to business owners, please be careful because all money is not good money. And there will be people that will come to you and the next thing you know, you're sort of veering off into a place that is not where you should be divinely. So my queen, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate being here this evening.
I tell you, I have truly enjoyed this. I'm excited about all the things that you're doing. You're doing some amazing things, and I'm excited for those that will connect with you because I tell you, you can definitely touch some lives. So thank you for stopping by and your willingness and your transparency and sharing on tonight. Um, do you have a website for those that are not on Facebook? Because I do share across other platforms. For those that are not on Facebook, I would love for them to be able to connect with you as well.
Absolutely. It's www.revolutionascension, one word.com. Real simple. Revolutionascension.com. And actually, when they go there, they will get a free download. I have a little assessment, and it's a self love, self worth assessment. And they can download it, and it just provokes thought. It asks questions, and it just gives people, women, something to think about. So please go there, and then they can read about all the services. And I encourage people to scroll to the bottom or on the top tab where it says about. And there are 5 things that I have written down at the bottom about me, because I think people should know something about who they are potentially going to either be working with or obtaining their services or even partnering or collaborating with. So go look at those 5 things that you should know about Jacqueline Lulu Brown.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I definitely want to thank you for stopping by, and I look forward to connecting with you in the near future. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Up Close and Personal with Angela on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. I have been blessed on tonight. I know you have been blessed. I hope that you would take away a nugget. Please take time, take 30 minutes and invest in yourself and go over and take that assessment. You never know. It could take you to your next level. I'm telling you, the waiting period is over. So I leave you with this. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So be blessed. See you guys tomorrow.